Most sellers think the way to sell their home for the highest price comes down to one thing, and that's what price should we list at. And I understand why it feels like the most important decision when you're selling a home, but in reality, price is not what determines your outcome. There are 3 decisions that matter far more, and they happen before your home even hits the market. If you get these right, you create demand, and if you get them wrong, pricing alone won't fix it. Before I list a home, I'm not starting with a number. I'm thinking about who the buyer is going to be, how are they going to experience the home, and how can we create momentum the moment it goes live. Because buyers make decisions quickly, and the market responds early. For sellers here in Needham and across the MetroWest market, this is something I walk through with every client before they list their home. So these 3 decisions are actually what drive your home sales price and how successfully you sell your home. The first decision is strategy. Generic marketing does not create demand, strategy does. And it's the first step in selling a home successfully. Before photos, before staging, before anything is public, we define who the most likely buyer is for your home. What are they looking for? What matters to them? And how do we position your home so it stands out to that specific buyer? Because not every buyer is the same. Some are focused on layout and function, some are drawn to design and finishes, and some care more about location, lifestyle, or long-term value. If we do not define that up front, the marketing becomes generic, and generic marketing does not create demand when you're trying to sell your home. What we're trying to do is create a moment where the right buyer walks in and immediately feels like this is the one. That's not luck, that's strategy. The second decision is preparation. Preparation is not about perfection, it's about the connection, and often one of the most overlooked parts of selling a home. This is where I see a lot of sellers either overdo it or maybe not do enough. Some feel like they need to update everything before selling, and others feel like they should leave everything exactly as is for the next buyer. But the goal is not to do more. The goal is to do what matters for the buyers we're trying to attract. The right updates, the right edits, the right presentation. That might mean painting, staging key spaces, adjusting furniture so the home feels more open and functional. Small changes can completely change how a home is experienced. Because buyers are not walking through your home analyzing it line by line, they're reacting to how it feels. And within seconds, they're deciding if they can see themselves living there. Presentation is not about perfection. It's about creating connection so buyers feel confident moving forward when they see your home. The third decision is the launch. You're not just listing a home, you're creating a moment, and this is what determines how your home performs once it hits the market. And it is one of the most important parts of selling a home that many sellers don't think about. Because the first few days on the market, that's where everything happens. That's when those buyers are watching. That is when the most activity happens. And that is when the market is timing its first impression of your home. So we are very intentional about the momentum. When we do go live, how is the home presented across platforms like Zillow and other search sites? And how do we create strong early activity? Because you're not just listing a home, you're creating a moment in the market. And when that moment is done well, you see more showings, more engagement, and stronger offers. Pricing your home is actually the last decision I make when sellers ask me what we should list their home for. That is actually the last part of the conversation. Because by the time we get there, the most important decisions have already been made. We've already defined the strategy, we've already prepared the home, and we've already built the launch. Those are the things that determine your outcome. Your home sale price is driven by your strategy, your preparation, and your launch. And this is what actually determines how successful you sell your home and the price you achieve. Pricing supports those decisions, but does not replace them. And this is where I see sellers get stuck. They think that if they price their home correctly, everything else will fall into place. But what I see over and over again is the opposite. If the strategy is unclear, if the preparation is off, if the launch does not create momentum, no price fixes that. But when those 3 things are done well, that is when you see strong early activity, real buyer interest, and ultimately better offers. That is what drives the result when you are selling a home. No price fixes a weak strategy, but the right strategy drives the result. If you're thinking about selling your home, even if it's a few months from now, this is exactly where we start. Not just with a number, but with a plan. because the right strategy is what allows you to sell your home successfully and maximize your sales price. If you have questions about your home, your timing, or what this could look like for you in Needham or the MetroWest area, I'm always happy to help.